Hi everyone. Thank you for joining me. I have an event coming up in about 3 or so hours, a little more than 3 hours. And I'm so happy about that because it is an amazing one and you're going to get to listen to it. So this video will be probably up a little bit later, so it will be uploaded when this video is up. As vegans, fruitarians, ethical vegans that is, as vegan advocates, we really do need to be strong and we need to have strength, physical, not only physical, but mental and spiritual as well. I talk about this a lot throughout my books, especially Our Path to Freedom, how we can live a freer and more peaceful life. Because I think it's so important that we understand how to balance our lives, how to use positive thinking and positivity to enhance so we can thrive, so we don't burn out. And that's a basic outline of my book, How to Create the Perfect Vegan Life. We are at a crossroads, and it is so vital that we educate and enlighten people about why we must love and be compassionate towards all life on this earth, and why it does not just include humans or the environment, but includes other beings as well. And people believe that, yeah, we got to treat animals better. Okay, so we can treat them better, but still kill them or still use them and steal from them at the same time. And as vegans, we witness so much cruelty on a daily basis sometimes. There's a lot of graphic, violent footage out there, and there's slaughter trucks on the highways going to death camps, and there are wars happening all around the world, and there's violence on TV and in the movies and media and news and so forth. And not only that, we witness it through supermarkets and health stores and even amongst our families and friends who contribute to the suffering. And not only that, on top of that, there are fast food animal meat restaurants and animal products like permeating our whole culture. And it's sad. It's really sad, but at the same time, it can make us a little bit crazy at times because we get bombarded by all this and then as well, like there's advertising for animal products, and there's advertising for products that make people sick from eating animal products, so like supplements and pharmaceutical prescriptions and all kinds of things to combat depression and mental illness and all kinds of things. And then we wonder, like, this world is like so crazy, like, why can't we live in peace already? Why can't we live in a utopia society already? It's because people are unfortunately consuming violence through their purchases of animal flesh, dairy, and eggs, and honey, and all these, all these products that contain animal derived ingredients. It's no wonder why sometimes we burn out because we're trying so hard to get this message out, which is basically a message of love for all life. And we are hit with so much resistance from everybody, from every side, and there's so much justification. So, what can we do to so we don't burn out? What do we do in these crazy times? And it is hard, you know. Many long-term, spiritually, ethically, vegans talk about it. And it is sometimes difficult, even for myself, a long-term vegan of almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in 2019 that I'll be vegan. And the first thing we need to understand is we need to balance things. And we need to keep positivity, and we need to have a positive outlook on the future. Because if we don't have a positive outlook and we always see things as negative, and we see everyone like, oh, they're not going to go vegan, then we're not going to live in this peaceful world, and humanity is doomed, and we're gonna destroy this earth and everything. It's like, no, we see the beauty, we see the compassion, the kindness. We see that people are awakening to their true innate compassion itself. But at the same time, we also see that there's a lot of destruction and a lot of turmoil and violence around the world. And the way I see it is that, yeah, there is a lot of this, and I sometimes feel like maybe there's no chance for us. But then I go back to my positive thinking and think and say to myself, there is a chance. I mean, I'm doing all that I can, and that's all that I can do. There's no reason for me to burn out and not to get enough sleep and not to work on myself as much as I can internally, like spiritually, and to take, a little bit of time off to recoup and relax. There has to be a balance. And though we don't have much time, I don't think, maybe within a few decades, you never know what might happen. And so it comes to a point where you really need to have this positivity, have this understanding that, you know, we can only do so much. And it is within our power, and only within our power as vegans and vegan advocates, to actually, we are the ones that have the power to transform this earth into a earthly paradise. And we are the ones that can make change. We are the ones that can, plant seeds of awakening in people, and plant seeds of love in others, and plant, this compassion within others, and understand that their situation. I remember for the first 26 years that I was ultimately the one that was responsible for many deaths, was responsible for much stealing and much cruelty, not just to, humans, and not just devastating the environment, but to the whole web of life. And it really comes down to the way we perceive, the way we view this world, other humans, and our outlook on life and on the future. And I think the two things that really helped me, really tremendously helped me to stay on this path, to not burn out, is two things. Is one is like the positivity that I mentioned, positivity that people will become vegan, that people are becoming vegan, positivity for the future, that the future is and will be vegan, compassionate, kind. We will be living in a peaceful world, and also seeing everyone and everything as love, and understanding these two things, really deepening. And that's where deep veganism comes in play, is really understanding that these two principles, positivity and love, unconditional love for all life, is really, I feel, the premise of why we're doing this. Like, we want to live in a peaceful world. We want to live in a loving and compassionate and kind world, where the environment is not ravaged and we don't have to implement locks and keys and, on our doors, and really just learning to love one another and to not harm other beings and to really just be compassionate living beings towards one another and towards other animals. And again, it can be hard sometimes for vegans to cope in this crazy world. But I think if we keep these two things in mind, and I I talk about these two aspects a lot, positivity and love, because I think they're so important, and to get people to understand, especially vegan advocates and animal advocates, to get them to understand that these two things are the utmost important to focus on and to uh, just to have our minds on that and to align our lives to include more love for all life and to include positivity as much as we can. And there are going to be a lot of obstacles, a lot of resistance within, just generally within other movements and within your family members and friends and colleagues and co-workers and so forth, and just within the whole world spectrum and different cultures and so forth. We're going to find that it's going to be hard, but we have to strive to be strong, have the inner strength, the mental and the spiritual inner strength to really be able to cope in this world. We coped, uh, I mean, just by going vegan, and vegan by definition is an ethical stance. Donald Watson said it was ethical stance in his vegan newsletter in November 1944. And it's so vital that, okay, we made the transition to veganism, and that was a huge step. And that was strength, that was mental and spiritual strength that we had to endure that. We had to, we took all our culture and we, kind of turned it all around. Of course, my book, Our Path to Freedom, How We Can Live a more freer, a freer and more peaceful life, actually goes even further than that. But just to do that, just to go vegan is like a huge step. And then going from there, it's like, and coping with all this violence that we see surrounding us is just something that we need to really take in consideration. And I think all of you, all the vegan advocates, all the animal advocates out there, the vegans that are doing their part to try to make this world a better place, try to plant seeds of love within everyone, and to do their part, non-aggressively, non-judgmental, as calm and as compassionate as we possibly can. And we all learn, and we might fall, several times. We might do things wrong, and we learn all the time. Even if we're 40 or 50-year vegan, we're learning all the time, and we're here to assist and to guide and to help one another. And that's why I think sometimes also it's very good to help and assist and to be with other vegans and really give a helping hand and support to all people, not just the ones that need to become vegan, the ones that need to awaken to veganism, but also the vegans who are struggling in some way, uh, whatever it might be, um, and just to keep a helping hand, because we all are struggling in some way. We all need healing. And so once again, I thank you, all of you, for doing your part to sharing this message to the world, for sharing the love, the compassion, the kindness, the joy, the happiness, and sharing veganism with everyone that you can. Again, I very much appreciate everyone's work in this and trying to get this message out. And also, I really do appreciate everyone taking the time to read my books. And if you haven't already, do so. Purchase my books, especially my latest book, Our Path to Freedom: How We Can Live a Freer and More Peaceful Life. And please do review them. Okay, review these books, and they get a better exposure on Amazon, in Amazon search, and also on search engines like Google and DuckDuckGo and all these other search engines. They get a better exposure, and that's about it. So thanks so much. Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the bell if you want notifications. And like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it around with everybody you know, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining me here, and I will see you soon.